In my previous video on how much CPF you should save by what age, many people commented that you cannot just take the annual income and then take 37% to calculate. That is too simplistic because you will have to account for the ordinary wage and additional wage for the CPF salary ceiling. To be honest, I find it quite amusing because the people that are making these comments are either 1. New to this channel and never watched my past videos on CPF, and 2. Assume that I'm too amateur to even understand what is CPF ordinary wage and additional wage. So never mind, today I shall clarify what is the CPF ordinary wage and additional wage, as well as the new CPF salary ceiling, right? How will it really affect you? Because the new salary ceiling is about to start, effective 1st September 2023. But I know that CPF is really complicated, so if you have any further questions, come and join us at our over 9,000 members Telegram group to ask your CPF questions there, and the community of experts will help guide you. Join us at Honey Money SG. Now, if we look at what is the official definition of OW, ordinary wage, by CPF, CPF says that it must fulfill 2 conditions below, where the wages are due or granted wholly or exclusively in respect of an employee's employment during that month. And number 2, the wages for that month are payable by 14th of the following month. To put it in simple words, it's called your monthly base pay. So it is what your employer has agreed to pay you on a fixed income every month, or more commonly known as your base pay, without any commissions, bonuses, or overtime. Now, what about the definition of additional wage? Here is what CPF says. Wages which are not classified as ordinary wage will be additional wage for the month. And the formula for determining AW additional wage will be 102,000 minus OW. So essentially, there is 102k minus what is your monthly base pay combined in a year. And this will usually be like commissions, performance bonuses, variable bonuses, AWS, OT, all these things that are additional income on top of your base pay will be considered AW, additional wage. Now, what most people usually assume is that the AW has a cap of 30,000 per year. And how they derive that is that if the CPF salary ceiling is 6,000 per month and you multiply that by 6, that will be 72,000, right? So you take 102,000 minus 72,000, that is 30,000 of AW. And this is where many people think the cap of AW is 30k, but it is wrong. Like CPF say, the AW is actually 102,000 minus your OW. You see, if you have a low monthly base pay, but if you have a high bonus that is credited 1 time or 2 times, you may also hit that 102,000 annual CPF salary ceiling. To put it into perspective, let's give a relatively low monthly base pay of $3,000. So 12 months of 3k will give you $36,000 for the year, right? And if you take 102,000 minus that $36,000, you will be left with $66,000 of AW salary cap. But let's say if you receive a total bonus additional wage of $80,000 for the year, maybe you have really high bonus or you have really high sales commission totaling up to $80,000, your total compensation for the year will be $36,000 AW plus $80,000 AW, which gives you $116,000. You will still exceed the cap of $102,000 because your AW ceiling is now $66,000, but your actual AW received is $80,000, which exceeds the AW cap anyway. So your annual CPF contribution will be $37,000 multiplied by $102,000, and you will get $37,740, which is the annual CPF contribution cap. So I would say your OW actually doesn't matter much. It's the AW that really matters for the CPF contribution cap. And if you don't believe me, you just go to this CPF OW and AW calculator, put in your numbers, and you will understand what I mean, because this is what I exactly did for the 3,000 monthly base pay plus the $80,000 additional wage. And there you have it, $37,740 annual CPF contribution cap. Okay, I know some of you headache already listening to all these CPF terms. I'll come back to explain further after a word from the sponsor. Do you know you can get up to $800 of free shares from Weibo this month? And I'm not going to tell you that you need to do some buy trades, because no need. Neither am I going to tell you that you need to fund at least $300 in cash, because also no need. So what I need to do? Very simple. Just fund any amount, even $1 will do, and you will get 3 free shares. Then hold your deposits, do not withdraw for 30 days, and you'll get another 5 free shares. The free shares are totally random from this list, and it could range from $3 to $100 each. So you see, the maximum reward is $800, but at the very minimum, you can get $24. You see, there's really not much to do. Just open an account with my referral link, put in $1, and after 30 days, see your luck. What shares did you get? So use my referral link down below or scan the QR code right here to get your Weibo account today. So what is new in this coming 1st of September 2023? The government has announced that the CPF salary ceiling will be raised from the current $6,000 to $6,300 effective 1st September. Now to put it into perspective, now the current salary ceiling is $6,000, right? Which means 20% of your own income, which is $1,200, will be contributed by yourself. And then for your employer, 17%, they will contribute $1,020. Now come effective 1st September 2023, CPF salary ceiling 6.3K. Yourself as employee will have to contribute 20% of $6,300, which is $1,260. And then your employer has to contribute 17% of 6.3K, which is $1,071. So for those of you who earn 6.3K and above, you have to contribute an additional $60 by yourself. And then your employer has to contribute an additional $51 per month. And therefore, are you happy or sad with this news? For those people who are happy, it's because you think that your employer has to provide for you additional 17% on the $300, which is $51 per month. And you are happy because more money is good. But for those of you who are sad, it's because you think that you yourself has to contribute $60 more compared to the previous $6,000 salary ceiling. And you think that this $60 is a lot to you. But if you are neutral about this news, then it doesn't really affect you, right? Because you are either earning way lower than $6,000 or you're earning way more than $6,300 and you will hit the CPF annual salary ceiling of $102,000 anyway. So it will not affect you because you are still subjected to the CPF salary ceiling for annual income. Now let me explain further what does this really mean for the $102,000 annual salary ceiling. So we calculate the OW and the AW together, right? So for your first 8 months in 2023, let's say you earn way more than $6,000. So your salary ceiling $6,000 for the first 8 months. That will be 8 times 6. Then for your remaining 4 months of 2023, your cap is 4 times 6.3, which means your total OW for 2023 will be $73,200. So how to calculate the AW again? We take 102,000 minus 73.2K, which gives you $28,800. Now, in order for you to hit that 102,000 annual salary ceiling, and then you want your AW to get at least 28.8K, the following calculation will be how much you have to work for based on your bonus, overtime, or commission. Let's say if you have an OW base pay of $7,000, you will take 28.8 divided by 7, and that means 4.11 months worth of bonus or commission. So similarly, if you have an OW base pay of $8,000, you take 28.8 divide by 8, then it will just be 3.6 months worth of bonus. And all these are just scenarios that you can play with your numbers to calculate how much you need to hit that $102,000 CPF annual salary ceiling. Now to be super clear, your contribution of $37,740, which is 37% of $102,000, will not be affected by the CPF tax relief if you want to do voluntary contribution to your MediSave, VCMA, or RSTU, retirement sum top-up to your special account. These two have separate CPF tax relief caps, which is a combined cap of $8,000 per year. So it doesn't matter whether you hit the annual CPF contribution cap, you can still do your RSTU or VCMA up to a combined limit of $8,000 per year for your tax relief. Anyway, this $6,300 CPF salary ceiling will only last till 31st December this month, because come next year in 2024, the salary ceiling will be raised again to 6.8K, $6,800, and then by the next year, 2025, it will be 7.4K, $7,400, and by 2026, which is what the government has finally planned for, is $8,000. But so far, they only say that they raised the monthly salary ceiling. They did not say that they raised the CPF annual salary ceiling of $102,000 yet. So there's very limited impact to those people who are earning 6.3K to $8,000 per month during this period. Because the annual salary cap doesn't change, nothing will really change much for your CPF annual contribution. So I hope I've clarified myself for those of you who misunderstand me about CPF. But if you really want to know how much CPF should you save my age, then come on to this previous video where I share with you what are the numbers.